Chronology of Slaughterhouse Halal Incident Case Pasar Besar Perembang. Hi, I am Huzaifa and I will share about chronology of halal incident at Pasar Besar Perembang, Kedah. 27 February 2014 founded a slaughterhouse with no compliant halal standards, and they were given 7 days to follow the halal standard, which is slaughtering and processing the chicken and also to ensure the cleanliness of the slaughterhouse. Next, 6 March 2014, inspection by Jabatan Agama Islam Kedah JAIK, they found that slaughterhouse shortened the bleeding period of slaughtered chicken by put them in hot water right after slaughter, and also they not check the slaughtered chicken to ensure that they had actually been slaughtered. Next, Assistant Director of JAIK Roshada Ramli said despite being in operation for almost 10 years, the slaughterhouse has not yet obtained a certificate of qualification for slaughtering chickens, and the knife was not washed with clean water and the slaughtered chicken was thrown in one container. The Ops Terasa Pemilihan collaborate with other agency Majlis Bandaraya Al-Usta and Jabatan Kesihatan Daerah Kota Sedar, says 49 chickens including 2 dead chickens. And this issue will be investigated in accordance with Section 3A Kedah Local Authority Dirty Law of Agitation 1933, which is carries a maximum compound up to RM 300.
Then, there are 3 main agencies that involved in this case. First, Halal Management Department of JAIK. The role is, first, manage halal management affairs in the state of Kedah. Second, manage the production process and compliance with halal certification and certification approvals. Third, manage training and development programs for staff and customer of the Halal Management Division. Fourth, manage the production process and monitor the slaughter certificate card holder. Fifth, manage halal certification auditing and monitoring. And last, carry out of the slaughter cost according to Jabatan Halal Ehwal Islam Negeri Kedah. Then, the second agency is Majlis Bandaraya Al-Usta. The role is, first, implement public health control activities such as food quality control, environmental hygiene and disease control. Second, ensure that the legal action is taken strictly and fairly as mentioned in the article, which is carries a maximum compound sentence of up to RM300. And the last agency is Jabatan Kesihatan Al-Usta. The role is, first, monitoring the level of safety, hygiene and food standard. Second, monitor the level of cleanliness of food premise. And last, oversee the practice and health of food handlers.
So, I will continue the relationship between the slaughtering issue and manual procedure for Malaysia Halal certification, or we call it as MPPHM. So first of all, we need to know first what is actually the meaning of the MPPHM. So it is a reference document for halal certification that explains the terms and requirements for certification and also contains information about application procedures for halal certification, certification process, and others. We go to the next issue, the slaughtering issue, and the first one will be the slaughterhouse has not yet obtained the certificate. So, the certification should comply with MS 1500 2009, or the latest version is 2019. Okay, halal food production, preparation, handling, and storage general guidelines. Malaysia Protocol for Halal Meat and Poultry Productions, Food Act 1983, Food Regulation 1985, and Food Hygiene Regulations 2009, Animal Rules 1962, Animal Act 1953, Abattoir Act 1993 or Slaughterhouse Ordinance 2004 or Veterinary Public Health Ordinance 1999. Then Local Government Act 1976, Local Council Bylaws, decisions of the National Fatwa Council for Islamic Affairs or Fatwa decreed by the states, and last, other related guidelines and regulations. Next issue will be the workers themselves failed to comply with halal standards. If we relate to MPPHM, the workers should be a Muslim who is mentally sound, baligh, and practice Islamic teachings. Then, the workers also having the understanding and knowledge on regulations and requirements of halal slaughter. Next, the workers should hold valid halal slaughter certificate or cut from Ma'in or Jain. Next slaughtering issue will be the knife that not dipped in clean water that includes the cleanliness of the slaughtering tools. So, if we based on MPPHM, Slaughtering knife or blade should be sharp and free from najis, blood, and other impurities. Then, slaughtering knives should be sufficient and are not made from bones, nails, and teeth. Next, slaughtering knives or blades used should be cleansed by using flowing water to ensure that the knife is thoroughly clean and pure from any impurities. The fourth one, the result of inspection stated that the slaughterhouse was failed to ensure the cleanliness itself. So if we refer to MPPHM, the slaughterhouse must be clean and comply with hygienic criteria by the competent authority and separated from residential home and or workers' quarters. The fifth one, the issue will be the workers were not sure either the chicken died because of being slaughtered or hot water. So if you refer to MPPHM, newly slaughtered animals using conventional methods should be properly handled, and improper slaughtered animals according to Sharia law should be separated and labeled as non-halal. Slaughtering also should be done only once, and the sawing action during the act of slaughtering is permitted as long as the slaughtering knife is not lifted off the animal during the slaughter. The third one, slaughtered animals are not dumped or piled to avoid the animal from being suffocated to death. The act of slaughter should begin with an incision on the neck at the same point just below the glottis, which is Adam's apple, and after the glottis for long-necked animals. And the last will be, no processing is being done after the slaughter unless the animal is confirmed dead.
First issue that we found in this article or news is most slaughterhouse shorten the bleeding period of slaughtered chicken by immediately putting the chickens in hot water immediately after slaughter for processing. And the solution is, we must emphasize workers, slaughtermen to follow halal standard and regulation which set by authorities such as a standard and regulation slaughtering process, in part determination of that process. So based on that standard, indication of death shall be assessed by observation of the animal as follows: fully dilated pupils, absence of pupillary and coronary reflex, flaccid tongue, absence of blood passing from the cut end of the carotid arteries. Example, blood passing from the cut carotid arteries indicate the head is still beating, absence of all movement in the carcass, and last, response directly related to the cutting of a major nerve are not considered to indicate that the animal is still alive. Besides, we also can refer other documents related to these issues, such as manual procedure for Malaysia Halal certification, in part slaughterhouse, in detail Muslim Halal checker. So, based on that document, examine the slaughtered animal as follows. First, the animal to be slaughtered shall be alive or deemed to be alive, hayat mustaqirah, at the time of slaughter. Second, the tarkiah alkum is severed. Third, the esophagus mari is severed. Fourth, the carotid arteries and jugular veins wadajin are severed. And last, complete death before further processing activities.
The next issue is about the slaughterhouse has operated for nearly 10 years, but unfortunately it still did not apply and earn the halal certification. Okay, what are the solutions? Number 1, application. The slaughterhouse can apply for domestic application through My eHalal. Secondly, certification fee. The fee is valid for 1 year and the fee is fixed according to Malaysia Halal Certification Scheme. Number 3, dedicated halal establishment. Approved establishment should be dedicated to produce halal meat, poultry and their products throughout all the supply chain from slaughtering until transportation according to Sharia law. Number 4, internal halal control system. The establishment shall establish internal halal control system to ensure the implementation of the halal system is highly effective. Number 5, halal check. A Muslim halal checker shall be present at the slaughter hall to check the entire process from stunning, slaughtering, dressing for operations, handling of non-compliance carcass and requisite. Number 6, the dressing operations. Once the animal is considered dead, specifically defined as determination of death, the dressing carcass operation can be conducted. Number 7 and lastly, deboning and packaging. The boning room including packaging shall be part of the approved establishment and of the same address. If any non-halal performance, carcasses shall be deboned after the deboning of halal carcasses.
I will continue the issue, which is there are many slaughterhouses that will not clean the knife that has been used. They also not dipped and rinsed it in clean running water. So the solution that I state here is the Muslim halal checker must ensure that the workers are concerned about the cleanliness of slaughtering tools and knife. Furthermore, the workers themselves should take an action to follow the right way and guideline on how to clean the knife properly. So if we refer to MPPHM, it stated that slaughtering lines, tools, and utensils shall be dedicated for halal slaughter only. Slaughtering knife or blade shall be sharp and free from najis, blood, and other impurities. And last, slaughtering knives or blades used shall be cleansed by using flowing water. Based on Malaysian protocol for the halal meat and poultry productions, also stated that the slaughtering knife shall be sharp and clean. Malaysian Standard MS 1500 2019, which is the latest version, also stated that devices, utensils, machines, processing aid, and equipment shall be cleaned and maintained regularly.
So the problem is many slaughterhouses do not follow the halal standard, which involves aspect of slaughtering and processing chicken, as well as ensuring the level of cleanliness of the whole process is guaranteed. So the first solution is the authorities must make sure that every slaughterhouse follows all the standard of the processing from the beginning until the end of process, which is halal slaughtering process. Animals shall be ritually slaughtered by a Muslim slaughterman. Slaughtering shall be done with niyah in the name of Allah and not for other purposes, and slaughterman is well aware of the action, and animals slaughtered have to be halal animals. Fourth, animals to be slaughtered shall be alive or deemed to be alive at the time of slaughter. 5. The animals shall be healthy and have been approved by exporting countries' competent authority. Second solution, cleanliness of the slaughterhouse, hygiene, sanitation, and food safety. First, manage and inspect raw materials, ingredients, and packaging materials before processing. Second, store harmful chemical substances safely and appropriately. Third, manage waste effectively. And fourth, prevent physical, biological, and chemical contamination of food. Fifth, prevent excessive use of permitted food additive.
Slaughterhouse in Pasar Besar Peremba failed to confirm whether the slaughtered chicken was completely slaughtered, as the slaughterman immediately put the chicken in the container. The stated issue really shocked the Muslims, especially in Malaysia, whereby more than 50,000 chicken being slaughtered nationwide daily. Halal-related issue became a very sensitive issue to the Muslims and seems maybe the top priority, as other matters that consider haram, such as smoking or bribing, seems like small issue. The issue really gave impact to the both consumer and slaughterhouse, as the boycott happened for a while. The slaughterhouse had to close for a while to comply to the halal rules and the regulations. Thus, the slaughterhouse had to bear the losses and the consumer must find other alternative to buy chicken. In order to counter the issue properly, relevant solutions required and have to abide the halal rules and regulations. First, the slaughtermen. They must be Muslims, mentally sound, baligh, and practice Islamic teaching. They must also having the understanding and knowledge on regulations and requirements of halal slaughter, and lastly, they must hold valid halal slaughter certificate or card from Sha'in or Mine. Second, they must have Muslim halal checker that is responsible to check whether the chicken was slaughtered or not. The checker must examine the animal to be slaughtered alive or deemed to be alive. The trachea or halqum is severed. Next, the esophagus or marek is severed. The carotid arteries and jugular veins or wadajin are severed. And lastly, complete death before further processing activities. Third, handling. The slaughtered chicken must be well handled in order to comply with halal rules and regulations. The improper slaughtered chicken, according to the Sharia law, shall be separated and labeled as non-halal, and the slaughtered chicken must also not be dumped or piled to avoid the animal from being suffocated to death. Lastly, record. The slaughterhouse shall have relevant records of slaughtering operations.
As a conclusion, Allah said in Quran verse 172, chapter 2, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم واشكروا لله إن كنتم إياه تعبدون. صدق الله العظيم. The meaning itself is, O you who have believed, eat from the good things which we have provided for you, and be grateful to Allah if it is indeed Him that you worship. So, as a Muslim, we need to follow the rules and the regulation on how to slaughter the animal properly. This is because slaughtering is a very crucial matter to determine the slaughtered animals either permissible to be eaten or otherwise. Thank you, and that's all from me.